Why do we prepare for interviews? There's only one reason. We want to win. And the most qualified person doesn't always get the position. It's actually the person that interviews the best. And what makes a person qualified? That may even surprise you. And we're going to talk about that in more detail. It's much more than just your skills and experience. Interviewing is a competition. Let's face it, we don't interview often, or maybe we interview too often. Perhaps we're not real comfortable with it. And the reality is, if we're interviewing a lot and we're not getting any offers, then we really have to assess, are we doing the wrong things over and over again, which sabotage our efforts of getting a job offer? It's easy right now to blame the economy because there's fewer openings and a lot more competitive candidates. But let's not do that. Let's take ownership of how we interview, how we're perceived, and our success rate ratio. If you're getting interviews and you're not getting offers, let's look at ourselves of what we can do better. Can we prepare better, execute better, etc.? So with that attitude in mind, recognize something. Most people do not prepare well for interviews, and therefore it's very easy to step above them and show up better in the interview process. It is a competition, and it clearly is a selling situation. You're selling the product you know best, which is you. So let's talk about what we're going to cover in InterviewCoach. First of all, in session 1, we really want to understand the interview game and how we have to win. Very important to understand all sides of the interviewing process. Number 2, in order to win that game, we must come up with a strategy and an approach that we know on an ongoing basis will be consistently more successful than winging it. Third, we want to learn how to prepare properly for every interview. With knowledge comes confidence, and with confidence comes good execution. 4, it covers the structured interview, a consistent way of approaching interviews where you take control and execute effectively. I promise you, if you can do that, you will stand out from 90% of the candidates that interview. And 5, what do we do when the interview's over and we need to follow up and move the process along so we can get an offer? That's in session 5. So, behind that, we have some bonus sidebars and topics. We give you some specific examples, as we'll talk about, for your career in general and specific situations. This is what the agenda of our program looks like. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of material, but I hope you enjoy it. We'll share everything we can with you. So, where should we not lose? We should never lose by lack of preparation. We should never lose by making basic mistakes, showing up late, not dressing properly, not starting the interview off well, making a terrible first impression. We should never lose by lack of enthusiasm, by attitude issues, by not being excited and interested in the position properly. Failure to control the interview is probably the biggest reason that a lot of candidates will lose an opportunity. They didn't get the criteria out on the table, they then proceeded to talk in general terms, and they talked themselves right out of a position. When I would interview candidates, salespeople, executives, whatever, it would be so easy for me to get them to talk themselves out of a job by asking a couple open-ended questions. They had no concept where I was going, and the next thing you know, they're going downstream in the wrong direction. So don't do that. Try to get a clear definition of the target, and then you'll prevent yourself from talking yourself out of a job. Finally, the interviewer evaluates you on many factors. Are you qualified? Are you not? But he also looks very carefully at how your delivery of your information is. Delivery is the key in interviewing. So you want to be confident, you want your voice to be reasonable volume, you want your answers to be quick, you want to use the summary technique that we're going to talk about, and you want to make sure your questioning and your listening and your answers are all well prepared. That's what preparation is all about. So now I think it's time for us to get started with some serious preparation. So the next session is the meat of the program. Let's go.
I can't live it.